I wanted to rank and review some content creators' coffee brands. Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Ashley if you're new here. So switching it up today, if you didn't know, I am a coffee blogger first. I love to review coffee over on my Instagram at Coffee Nut, where I review a lot of different coffee brands over the years and I have a lot of fun with it. So I figured let's bring it to this channel. I'm very excited about it. I'm one coffee in. I've been meaning to finish this video for a while and let's get right into it. There's been a lot of influencers, content creators, whatever you want to call them, that have come out with their own coffee brands. All jokes aside, some were good and some weren't. So today, in no particular order, we're going to be chatting about, of course, the Queen, Chamberlain Coffee, a coffee brand started by Emma Chamberlain herself, Bankroll Coffee, which was started by Stephan, a finance YouTuber. Kramoda Coffee, which I don't really have a glamorous shot right here right now because their resealable tape sucks and we're gonna get into it. But this was started by Vlog Squad members Zane and Heath. And then a little curveball, but I really wanted to try it. Vinadrip, she is a super popular TikToker and she came out with her little like coffee sachets, coffee packs to go. I'm definitely super picky about coffee and the roasts and things that I like. So I am gonna get a bit detailed, but at the end I will be ranking all of them and telling you which ones are worth your money and which ones aren't and which brands you should be supporting and checking out. So make sure you stick around to the end for that one. So first I wanted to start off with the, I guess, I don't want to call it like the underdog, but I got this one off Amazon. Basically, it's these little sachets. I don't even know what you would call them. This isn't like a new design or anything revolutionary. I've gotten sent and tried many of these before. I bought this one off Amazon. So basically, these come in this little packet with instructions on the back. Just gonna try and gracefully tear this open. And it comes in something like this. So this hooks on the sides of the mug, like so. Depends on how wide your mug is, but for the most part, they're pretty good at staying still like that. You tear the top open and you are set up and ready to brew. And so it's like a mini to-go pour over coffee and it like hooks to the side of your coffee mug. I actually love just the idea of this, especially when traveling and on the go, you just need hot water and a cup and you can get pretty decent quality coffee. Another popular brand that does this exact same sort of pour over on the go sachet method is Copper Cow Coffee. You might have seen their branding. So my thoughts. Vinadrip Coffee was definitely much better than expected. These, I've had some great ones and some horrible ones of the little to-go pour over coffee sachets. This one definitely exceeded my expectations. You know, really didn't know what to expect. This is a medium roast. It says it has undertones of brown sugar, hazelnut with a honey aftertaste. I definitely was getting more like chocolatey undertones. I didn't find it to be super complex, but the thing with these is it's not like a normal coffee where it's like super open for you to kind of manipulate it and grind the beans however you want and prepare it however you want with however method of your choosing, whereas with this one it's very, there's one method, it's already ground up and ready to go. It just all depends on how much water you put in. And I mean, unless you're like actually measuring it, which I'm not because who's got time for that? Not me. You can manipulate it in a way, but not as much as traditional coffee. But again, it's like a give and take because this is supposed to be like easy on the go. And I think I'm going to price check this. I think this was around $20 and it came with 8 of them. But actually with this one, now looking on Amazon, I didn't even realize how many different options there are of this coffee. So I got the medium roasted, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other options, which I think is quite great. I didn't even realize how many options there were. I mean, it's definitely pricier than, say, pretty much all of the other coffee that I'm going to be chatting about, but again, it is super convenient on the go. Ooh, and like some of the other ones have like super fancy packaging. Of course, I like picked the most boring one. But for all of these, I wanted to pick something like kind of like a more medium roast house blend with similar undertones that I could more accurately rank and review them for you guys. So that was Vinadrip. Make sure you stick around to the end for my thoughts on if it's worth it. Next, I really wanted to talk about Kramoda Coffee. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of great things to say about this brand. I think my biggest issue to start is I couldn't purchase their coffee whole bean, which if you talk to any coffee snob, that is an absolute no-no. I understand with different productions and things, and they are a new company, so take all of what I'm saying with a grain of salt. There's definitely room for improvement, and after watching like Zane and Heath's podcast and stuff, diving into their brand a bit more, I know they went through a lot of trouble on the back end to try and get their company up and running. So I wish them the best, definitely room to grow, but I'm going to be chatting about the coffee. Again, this has nothing to do with the people, just talking about the coffee here. Yeah, a big no-no that I couldn't buy this whole bean. It just drastically reduces the freshness of coffee. And again, if it's pre-ground, like I have for my Chemex pour over method, I like it to be ground not only fresh, but a certain fineness so that it times perfectly with my bloom and my method and everything. You know, there's a science behind making coffee, and yeah, it just drastically reduces the freshness. Also, what doesn't help is on the back, I'm sure you can see there's this reusable tape, but it doesn't, you know, there's no hope. It's not working. So that's why I have a little clip. So again, drastically reduces the freshness. So room for improvement for sure on that front. Now this is their house blend. Again, I wanted to try and stick with not really anything with crazy undertones or flavors so that I could just get a feel for overall what each of these coffee brands' quality and vibes are, I guess. Again, this is just one coffee I'm chatting about and reviewing. So not to say that all of the others are as good or as bad. So the house blend, it says a classically bold roast with a smooth finish, perfect to enjoy any time of the day. So it says in big bold letters that it is a medium roast. And if there's one thing that I've been extra annoyed with lately, and we're gonna talk about it again with one of the other brands in this video, is I hate when coffee brands of any kind, of any size, call something a medium roast when it is very clearly very much a dark roast, very bold, very smoky, very rich, like just because I'm definitely more of a light medium roast person. So when I buy something thinking it's a medium roast and it's super dark, I'm like really sad about it, and yeah, just get really salty. So let's chat a bit more about this coffee itself and what I thought about it. Besides the freshness aspect that we chatted about, the coffee itself, like I said, definitely tastes a lot darker in my opinion. Very bold, very smoky, very heavy. But something that really hints to me about the lack of quality in this coffee is how chalky it tastes. And I don't know anything that goes on in the back end. I'm just clearly doing it by my opinion on the way that I normally brew here. But yeah, just very chalky. Did not like the quality of this, did not enjoy drinking it. I had a couple sips and I just couldn't. It was just very heavy, very chalky, and not my favorite. I know they have like other flavored coffees as well, so who knows, they could easily be a lot better. And I know they do K-cups, but I don't have a Keurig or anything like that. So, I mean, I wish them the best. I'm sure there's room for improvement. I did not like this coffee, and let's keep watching and see if this was my least favorite or not. Sorry, Zane and Heath. Love your podcast though. Next up is Bankroll Coffee by Stephan. He consistently and very smoothly, in my opinion, too, integrates this into his videos, and the branding and marketing I think is just very on point. I know he did have a lot of different roasts, and I picked this one, the Double Down Bright and Rich. Again, it says it's a medium roast, but we shall see, based on the undertones and everything. So it says small batch, locally roasted and hand packed in Los Angeles. And I do want to quickly shout out their team, which was really nice. I accidentally first ordered this in ground, and very quickly their team got back to me and switched my order to whole bean. So shout out, very good customer service, very fast too. But I do actually really love their branding and their packaging. Again, I think it's like very true to Stephan and like his finance videos and everything. I don't watch him super closely, but he does make nice reaction videos and everything. So this is Bankroll Coffee. So overall, I thought this coffee was smoother than I thought it would be. Let's, you know, have like a mini coffee lesson really quick. You can kind of see it's hard with the lighting, but there is a shine to these beans. Now this isn't as dark as the Kramoda Coffee, but It definitely is a darker medium roast. Now, I don't really think it's that big of a deal because I would still say this is more of like a medium dark roast, completely fine, but it is on the darker side of the medium scale. Again, this is just me being extremely nitpicky. Also, not a coffee expert either. I'm just your average coffee snob here, so moving on. Overall, I thought Bankroll Coffee was smoother than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really think this coffee was anything special, like anything to write home about. I know specifically, at least from what I've picked up from Stephan's videos, is that he kind of markets this as like a cheaper alternative to coffee, like, you know, saving money making coffee at home versus going out and buying coffee. That's kind of the gist of the marketing, which obviously definitely save money buying coffee at home. Do I still go out and buy $7 lattes? Of course. But I just didn't really think the coffee was anything special. Now, it does have on the back like how they recommend brewing it hot and how they recommend brewing it iced, which I do appreciate because obviously my method is what I like to do, but the people creating the coffee, a lot of the time the stuff that they recommend is not always the best, but hints to what could work best with the coffee that they created. But overall, I do think that this is an okay roast. It's average. It's nothing special. It is on the cheaper end. I believe this was under $15, which a lot of specialty coffee, like I'm used to paying upwards of like 20-ish a bag, something like that, give or take, in USD. So I think this would make a nice smooth cold brew, but yeah, nothing special. And last but certainly not least, Miss Emma Chamberlain herself, Chamberlain Coffee. Now, I definitely have been, you can see from, there's like not much left in this bag. I actually did work with Chamberlain Coffee over on TikTok. So her coffee is the only one out of this video that was gifted to me, but I mean, I'm not being sponsored or paid or anything to talk about it here or over on my Instagram. All honest vibes here. So I have been able to try the most out of Chamberlain Coffee versus all of the other brands. I think I tried 4 different roasts of her coffee as well as her little cold brew packets, and my favorite is actually the one in the B-roll shots, which is the Careless Cat, I believe. It is a lower caffeine version. It is more kind of like half calf, but I definitely think that that was my favorite out of her blends. This one I didn't love as much as well as the other ones, mainly because, you guessed it, they said it was a medium roast and it was like very dark and heavy and smoky, and yeah, just not always the vibe. Again, similar to Bankroll, I think that a lot of Emma's coffee is great as cold brew, and her little cold brew packets I do think are great despite the cost. They are expensive, so I mean it is cheaper to just buy a bag and make your own cold brew. Much cheaper actually, but obviously there is the convenience of her little like cold brew sachets and everything. But the green bag, the Careless Cat blend, is super smooth. It's definitely my favorite out of Chamberlain Coffee. It's more of a traditional medium roast, whereas a lot of her others, like I said, I found much more on the darker side. And also I didn't really notice that much of a difference with it, considering being like lighter caffeine content, more kind of like half calf. But it was nice to have that as an option because I'm a very, you know, anxious person, so having that as an option I do appreciate. I also found that it ends a bit fruity and isn't super overpowering, and they do offer whole bean, which is great. Bankroll, like I said, did as well. It was just Kramoda that didn't offer whole bean. So out of all of these 4 coffees, I definitely found that Chamberlain Coffee was the highest quality, which I was not expecting going into this. Didn't really know what to expect because I really was able to, even the darker ones that I didn't necessarily love, it was a lot easier for me to taste the complexity of the coffee. Not necessarily that complex coffee always equals better quality coffee, but in my book, I definitely appreciate it. I like that depending on how you brew a coffee roast, it can, you know, hint to different flavors or undertones or make this more fruity or chocolatey or nutty. Like, I love that. We love science, yay! But out of what I've tried, again, could be biased because I've tried the most of Chamberlain Coffee and I've been drinking it for a little bit, whereas the others I've only recently started trying. So take that with a grain of salt, but I do think that the complexity of Chamberlain Coffee's roasts take a gold star in my book. Now, I do want to note though that although I am saying that this is, in my opinion, of the highest quality in this video, compared to like the other third wave coffee roasters and like everything that I have in my coffee corner right now, do I go for her coffee a lot? No. I definitely much prefer other roasters and coffees over this one. So I definitely think a lot of it is just people buying it to try it, see if it's good, buy it because they love Emma, love the packaging, love the marketing. They definitely do a really good job in that sense. But do I think this is the most incredible coffee in the world? No, but I mean, out of this video, I definitely think that this is, I never thought this would come out of my mouth. I definitely think it is the best out of this video. So let's rank them. Chamberlain Coffee, I'm going to put at the top. I think that overall the quality and the complexity of their coffee is definitely the highest. Next, I think I'm gonna go with Bankroll Coffee. I'd be interested to try more of their coffees and also make this as a cold brew. I think it would make a really nice, smooth cold brew. So there's definitely some room to grow. Also love that they offer whole bean and they have great customer service. And packaging, marketing, I also approve. So Graham Stephan, room to improve. Love that. Third, I'm going to say the Vinadrip Coffee. Definitely better than some of the other little pour over coffees on the go that I've tried, but nothing amazing. But again, room to grow because there is a lot of other fancier, probably blends that I would have liked better that I showed. Like there's this one hazelnut one, probably would have enjoyed, but also the most expensive one in this video, well over $20. And last but not least, Kramoda is by far the worst coffee in this video. I understand that Zane and Heath specifically have been going through a lot with this company and definitely room to grow. I wish them the best, just not my favorite coffee. Maybe one of their other roasts I would have liked better, except I think they really only had a house, a decaf, and then flavored, and I don't really love flavored coffee. Like I just like natural undertones of coffee. So anyway, I think if they started offering whole bean, I understand that's not always attainable for coffee companies, but if they started offering whole bean, I think that would greatly improve the freshness and also fix their packaging. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this coffee content. I love ranting about coffee. If you enjoyed this, make sure to head over to my Instagram or my TikTok. I review a lot of coffee shops, coffee brands, coffee roasts, like all of the above. And yeah, I had so much fun with this video. I will link all of these coffee brands down below if you want to check them out and support them. And yeah, I appreciate you and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Okay, bye.